Hello, in this video we are going to start putting in our image planes for our project. So the project we are going to do is let me bring it up, source images, is a Trojan helmet. You can see here. So I have a few images that I'll put in the description and this MP4 that you can download. And these are the things here. So this is the back, the front, side, and the side without the faceplate. And when you download them, put them in your source images folder. This is the directory that you put textures and image planes. Maya automatically looks in the source images folder for these areas, so might as well use that workflow. So I'll have these, and the reason I have this turntable is sometimes the orthographic views can be a little vague in what's happening, and so you can use this to get a more informed or make a more informed decision. Okay, so let's go back to Maya. So we have this. So to be able to see your orthographic views, you can go over here to this button here, and that will take you to the top, front, side, and it will give you this grid view, and you see your perspective. So, and you can also go back to it by hitting this perspective here, and you'll be able to get back to just your perspective. You can also go up here to perspective and go to perspective, and right here go to orthographic, and you can switch to front, side view. You'll see down here what camera you're in. So this is the front looking down -Z, and side, and all that kind of stuff. So the first one we're going to do, let's do the front. I'm going to view, image plane, import image, then go to front and hit open. Now that's in, I'm going to go to my perspective, and you can see that it's put right in the center of our geometry, and we'll fix that, but let's get in all our images. So orthographic side, view, image plane, import image. So we won't do the front part of our helmet until the end, so that'll be our last piece that we do. So let's do side open, because we'll do this back piece. So hit that, and now let's go to orthographic. So there's no back by default, but you can go down here to new and hit back. And you see the front because the front and back are looking at each other. So let's go to view, image plane, import image, and then put in the back. Open. Okay. So now I can go to my perspective, and you should see all the images kind of in the center, in the origin. The front and back should be kind of close. Maybe we'll see with the back. So the back went back there. So I still don't understand the logic for some of this stuff, but we can easily fix this. And sometimes if you bring in image plane, sometimes there'll be translates like off. All you have to do here is set this to 0, and that will bring it back to the origin, and that's what you kind of want to do. Set that to 0 initially, and I'm going to name these just so I know which one is what. So the first one was front, and then this is side, and this is back. Okay, and now if I go here, I'm just going to move the front down -Z. If you look down here, there's the Z and there's X and Y. You want to go back. So the blue line, you can go back. And then this one, I'm going to move this way, the side, this one this way. So let's first do the side just so I can demonstrate something. I'm going to go to this fourth view, and you can move this down so that you only see 2. And I'm going to set this to be my side. So now I see it. So one thing when we're working with image planes is that if we move this in front, see how my box kind of disappeared, my cube? So these can occlude whatever you're working on. So you have to make sure that you just move it back. And then you'll see the same kind of issue when we go to the front and side. So I'm going to go to this, change this to my front. And you see that the back, so we did this, I think we did this right, but the back is occluding it. So if I move this back here, you see my cube kind of showed up. But I want to move this in front. And I'm going to go to my attribute editor. So 2 important menu sets are the channel box and the attribute editor. They have a lot of the same kind of data. The channel box is a more focused view of things. You have your shape node information and your translate, rotate, scale, your transforms. So if you go to attribute editor, you can click on that, or you can hit Control A. That's the hotkey for that. And in here, you'll see this is where all those translates were, rotate, scales. And in here, but they also have a lot of other information. So this has a more fuller view of all your options, is your attribute editor. And then if you go to image plane, the shape node, this gives you a bunch of other options. So right now we're looking through front, and so we don't want to see the back image plane in our front view. We want to see the front image plane. So we can do that by going to the display and hitting looking through camera. And that will make it so it only sees the back image plane in the back camera. So if I go to my orthographic back, there we go. And you see we have a problem. The problem is that we, our image plane is, let's go back to the back. Oh, is that my front is occluding my back. So we'll just have to go to select that front and go looking through camera. So now we can see the back and the back and the front and the front. One thing with these images is, see how I didn't quite make this centered? If you're doing your own projects, try to do that. I made a mistake by not making this centered. You can fix that by just taking this and selecting that arrow so it only goes in that direction. And then you can move it this way, but sometimes you want to zoom up. So I'm going to zoom up, and you can hit the middle mouse and move if you first select that direction. And I center it right on the middle. That way when I mirror this and I'm checking my image plane, it matches perfectly. I'm going to go to the front view, orthographic front, and I'm going to do the same thing, but for the front, I'm going to select that, move it over, so it's right in the center. Check. So this can go a little more in the center like that. There we go. So that's pretty close. Now we can, and I'm going to look through orthographic side. That looks good. So now, if I look here, I can select that one and make that looking through camera too. Now we have a good setup scene with all our cameras with image planes that we need. So I'm just going to save this, save a lot and save often. And if you come back to this, make sure that you set your project so that your image planes work. So that's a good setup for our project. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.